You're listening to the Becoming More Me podcast with me, Theresa Lear Levine. You're already enough. But if you're anything like me, you thrive when you're stretching and developing yourself, creating more of the person you feel called to be. This podcast is here to inspire and support you. Let's release the negative, reinforce the positive, and elevate our vibe together as we tap into our limitless potential to transform and grow.
Hello, hello, hello. Oh my goodness. You know what's funny? When you record something for a podcast one day and then less than 48 hours later, you are having to look at your very own advice and apply it to your life again. Yeah. Sometimes things do not go as expected. And sometimes things simply just are not going well in our lives. And that's kind of what I want to talk about today, because it's really easy to lean into things that make good things better and that make something that's already going well be even more improved. But sometimes when you think things are going well and then the rug gets pulled out from underneath of you, it can be a major gut punch and something that takes a different kind of compassion for yourself and those involved then you have to dole out on a regular basis when things are, for the most part, going fairly well. And I say that in a world where so many things are not going well on a daily basis, unfortunately. And so take it all with a grain of salt. Obviously, nothing's ever 100% good. It's the good and the bad, the contrast, all of that is what enriches our lives. But I recorded my podcast episode, which, depending on how things air, is probably a few episodes ago, but it was only 2 days ago from recording this one. And the episode was about how slowing down is sometimes necessary in order for us to be able to have the traction necessary to speed up. And in that episode, one of the examples that I gave was about how one of the times that I really had to slow down in life and my business was when I took on my first full-time virtual assistant and basically had to teach her all the ropes of my business at that time. And through all of that, she basically became like an extension of me, so incredibly invaluable to my business with what she could provide. Well, things have suddenly changed this week, and I am now having to find another virtual assistant because she will no longer be able to, work for me. And I'm not going to go into that, but you can only imagine how much I'm trying to figure out, like, how do I redo all of this? And feeling like I was just getting to the point in this new year where I was ready to really take off running and had the support, the systems, the knowledge base with my team and everything else in place and running really smoothly. And then something unexpected happens. And now I'm back in the place of having to form a new relationship and trust with a new employee and kind of starting from, I won't say like square one, but it's going back a bunch of steps in order to potentially be able to move forward once we get through this rough patch. So that, in addition to my husband finding out some health news this week that is going to require a good bit of, minor but not fun oral surgeries over the next couple of months. So that was also a very unexpected thing. He had discovered this kind of lump in his mouth and ended up at a periodontist, and things, there's infection, there's bone loss, there's major gum recession, and just really unexpected things, especially since he has always taken really good oral care. I realize holistically, all different parts of our bodies and all different ways that we treat different things come into our oral care and the health of our mouths and other parts of our body. But he's always taken really good, oral care and oral hygiene. And he's He's never smoked or done drugs or any of that kind of stuff that normally would cause a lot of these things. So it's puzzling and it's sudden and unexpected. So both of those things in my business and in his health happened within the same 12-hour period. And it was just like, it was a gut punch kind of day. And all I could think of was the irony of, talking about the very thing that I now have to do, and knowing that, okay, Theresa, you just put it out there. This was important. This helped your business to slow down in order to speed up. And you just have to do it again. That's all. And I'm sure it's not the last time I'll have to do it. And it's going to improve my systems, my communication, my leadership abilities, and so much more to go through this. But boy, is it frustrating. And, during a time too, when I would like to be able to delegate more so that I can be more present and supportive to what my husband's going through, because it sure does not feel good when you feel like your body is failing you and like you have done everything that you can to not have that happen. And I know everybody's been through something like that at some point with their health. So it's just that feeling of, man, like, what was everything that I did even worth? And that is something that I kind of thought today, maybe we would do a little tapping together and kind of work through it on a more general way of what we do to deal with our emotions and those crazy thoughts that start going through our heads when things are not going as expected. And I also find that whenever I have these things happen, the universe always sends me something good to like uplift me or to give me strength. The other day, it came in the form of an inspiring Paralympian story on Instagram. And I find both value and detriment in comparison. It's a double-edged sword, but basically Amy Purdy's story came across my feed, and it had been kind of put together from beginning to end of when she had gone through sickness and lost her legs and everything else to, being a 3-time Paralympic medalist, and I believe 3-time gold Paralympic medalist, although I don't know for sure. And, being on Dancing with the Stars and so many things that came her way after all of the seemingly really challenging, difficult, negative things that she went through. And, it makes it really easy to then look at what we're going through and be like, cool, so easy, we can get through it comparatively. But it's not like we could change lanes and have her story versus ours or anything else. So that's where comparison loses its value, because this is where we are. This is the hard that we're facing. And it does feel awful right now. So I need to honor that and voice it instead of saying, oh, but it could be so much worse. So I'm just going to be grateful. Gratitude. Yes, I am grateful. Yes, it could be worse. But in order to feel the true gratitude, in order to be able to truly move forward, grow, receive the blessings of this situation, I have to voice the yucky stuff underneath. So I'm not going to do this specifically for my situation as we tap, because I don't feel like that would serve you as my audience, as well as doing it a bit more generally, but I know this is going to help me. So when I think about, just going back 24 hours to before I knew that I had to make some major changes business-wise, and that my husband had some painful stuff ahead of him health-wise, and, both physically and emotionally. The surgeries he has to go through sound miserable. But before I knew that, I was beginning to feel like, yeah, I'm getting my feet back underneath of me in the new year. I'm catching up from the time that I slowed down in order to speed up before the new year started, ready to go. I've got great stuff lined up, and I'm so excited to serve my community, my family, whatever is in store for me in 2022. And then you get news like that and you have to find that vibe again, because I don't feel differently about any of that stuff that I just said. It's just that there's kind of this damper that's been put on things and these new challenges and layers and pieces to work through in order to really get back to feeling really happy and abundant about all that. So it's always fun to kind of take inventory before we do tapping. And if you're listening to this as an audio podcast, then realize you can hop on over to YouTube or wherever else you're following me and probably find a video version of it and tap along with me and watch. Sometimes that's a little easier. I am going to just go through the points. So we are going to start tapping. And when I'm saying the even though statements, we're going to be tapping on the side of our hand that we call the karate chop point. And then as I start going through other statements, each statement, you're going to move. First statement, top of the head tapping. Second statement will be the eyebrow, right where your hair on your eyebrow starts. The third one is going to be the side of your eye. The fourth one is going to be under your eye. The fifth is going to be under the nose. The sixth is going to be under the mouth. The seventh is going to be the collarbone point. And the eighth is going to be under the arm, right about where your bra strap crosses. If you're unfamiliar with tapping, just watch a video from my webpage. You can go to theresalearlevine.com, check out some tapping videos there. Go to my YouTube, Theresa Lear Levine station. Just watch a tapping video. If it's this one or another one, and you'll get it. It'll click with you. I know that it's hard when you're just listening to a podcast if you haven't done it before. So give yourself a little bit of a visual to go along with it, and that will take you far. And you can actually just go to theresasfreegift.com. And my name is spelled with an H, Theresa, Theresa, freegift.com, and get an entire ebook that has links to great, 5-minute practices that you can do, all tapping related, and learn a lot there before you begin. So that if this seems confusing, and as I'm going through this, you're like, what is she doing? That will make it make sense. I've done plenty of interviews and videos and things on how to do this. So I just don't want to be repetitive here and give you information that you either already know because you're familiar with this practice, or that you can get somewhere else and save yourself some time. So before we begin, it's good to assess how we're feeling. So today we're talking about when things aren't going well. So if there's something that is not going well for you right now, think about how much stress that is currently causing you on a scale of 0 being no stress at all. It's not bothering me a single bit, to 10 being the most possible stress. It's awful. It's invading your thoughts and your time and your emotions and just really consuming you. And write that number down. It's so important to assess beforehand, because otherwise you just don't know how much you've moved the needle, so to speak. And you can pick a number arbitrarily too, and then just assess if it's gone up or down. But it's important to kind of just take the temperature on it beforehand. So when I think about the things that aren't going well and the way that they're stressing me out right now, I'm better than I was yesterday because I have done some tapping already, but there's definitely more stress there that's just stuck. And so I would say that right now I'm at like a 7.5, maybe. I'm writing that down. So we're going to begin with those even though statements on the karate chop point. Even though things are not working out the way I thought they would, I honor the stress and anxiety that I'm feeling about it and accept myself anyway. Still on the side of the hand. Even though this whole situation feels totally like a gut punch, I love, accept, and forgive myself. Even though I really saw things working out differently than they seem to be, I deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway. Top of the head. And we're going to be going through those other points that I talked about now. Things are not working out as I planned. And it all feels really sudden and stressful. I definitely was not planning on any of this. And the stress and burden it is adding to my life is unwelcome. I don't want to have to go through any of this. I am definitely having major resistance to these changes. And that is causing me a lot of stress. And I can feel it in my breathing. My breaths are way shallower than usual. And I'm not sleeping as well. And I can feel it in my chest, tightness in my chest. I had other plans. And none of this was part of it. And I do not feel like going through this. And I wish I could just reject it all. But I know these things are already happening, and I don't have control over a lot of it. But I do have control over me. And I can choose to make lemonade out of these lemons and to make the best of this unexpected series of situations. I'm open to the possibility that there are major silver linings here. And that what I'm going through is part of my growth. I am open to the possibility that good can come from all of this. And that maybe this is for the highest good of everyone involved. And that maybe it doesn't need to be so stressful, so difficult, so challenging. And that it's just part of a bigger plan that I don't get to see in advance or know everything about. And maybe I can be okay with that. Take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. And at this point, I like to just roll my shoulders or stretch my chest or my back. Raise my hands up high and stretch, whatever feels good. You're moving that energy and unblocking a lot by doing that. And it feels good to keep that energy moving. And this is also the time to reassess how you feel again about your stress and its relationship to the unexpected changes or the negative things currently going on in your life on that 0 to 10 scale. So for me, I was at a 7.5. And right now I feel remarkably calm about all of it. Just, I've really been able to get some perspective and transcendence of a lot of the emotions that have been really grabbing me about this. So right now I'd say I'm at like a like a 2, which is a big shift. And that makes this a great time for me to go and jump into some of the work that I need to do to support these changes. So today, that means outlining things for a new virtual assistant and recording different processes that are necessary to hand off delegation of things and figuring out what I personally need to do and what I can hand over and what I might need to learn in the time being, if there's a period of time between one and the other, and I'm having to do all of the work on my own. And also to do some research on my husband's behalf for different nutritional supplementation and other things that he can be doing more holistically as he gets ready for these surgeries so that his body can be best supported, can recover faster, can take to the different things that they're going to be trying to do, and that he can be as comfortable and healthy given the situation as possible. So that's things I can do and things I'm going to go do. And I encourage you, reach out, shoot me a message, send me an email, Theresa@theresalearlevine.com. Tell me what you're going through right now. Tell me if tapping on it helped. And just know that we can all support each other through the unexpected things in life, and that there is a way with EFT to get that emotional freedom around those situations when they are feeling really overwhelming and out of control and everything else for you. And if you're watching the video, you can see I have my rainbow bugs are dancing throughout this video. The sun's coming in my window. And if you know me, you know that signs are a big thing that I love. And even though it's not uncommon for a crystal hanging in a window to produce a rainbow, it is uncommon for me to have my window open this time of morning and to get to enjoy it. And that is a welcome sign today. And I receive it and I feel it and I'm aligned with it. And I am ready for more, universe. That's for sure. So be well, and I will see you on the next episode.
Thanks so much for listening. If you loved this episode, please share it with a friend or post on social media and tag me so I can personally connect and thank you. Until next time, keep taking bold and brave action steps towards becoming more of who you want to be in this world. You are capable, you are worthy, and you are enough. Keep shining your light.